Hi guys, it's me, Trudy Lee. How's everybody doing? I want to do a reading on Donald Trump's health. I really want to drill down and focus on what's on with him mentally and see if he's, you know, fit to be president actually. And we can answer that without looking at his health, right? So let's take a look at his health. Let's see what Spirit has to say and what I can glean from this. Let's take a look, okay? So I'm going to lay out some cards. Let's see. One, two, three, here. Got them all over the place. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on here. The first thing, I have to say is Trump has insomnia, and his mother has insomnia too, or she had insomnia. Did y'all know that? His father had Alzheimer's, Fred Sr., and you know, sleep is so important to brain health. It's really important because that's when all that harmful proteins are cleared from the brain, is when you're sleeping. So you really need to get an adequate night's sleep. It's so important. I have problems sleeping too, but I'll go and if I sleep 5 hours a night, I'm good. I'm really good. And then once in a while, I'll get 8 hours of sleep. Okay, so I have to say, this is for entertainment purposes only. There's a disclaimer right there, okay? So I just wanted to take a look and see what's going on mentally with Trump and see what comes out. Okay, let's see. The first card I pulled is Four of Wands. So, you know, this is about the family. So he's acutely aware that his father had, you know, Alzheimer's. He didn't want to fall into those footsteps. Of course, nobody wants to do that. But I feel like that he's taking some preventable measures, you know, that could be some kind of supplements or some kind of procedure or something like that, because, you know, he was aware that Biden, you know, he said it all the time that Biden was having mental problems, that he was declining, and this is something he's worried about for sure. You know, it's in his family. He should be worried about it. The Hierophant card is the next one that I pulled. So definitely he's taking some precaution, and this is about tradition. So he's doing the traditional things that any of us would do to prevent Alzheimer's, like taking cholesterol lowering medication, taking blood pressure lowering medication, things like that, taking supplements. He's doing the things that anybody traditionally would do. So I don't think he's doing any kind of crazy treatments or anything like that, but he's just taking precautions, definitely. He's very aware of it. Judgment. So, you know, I have to look at this like his judgment. Now we're watching his judgment. All of us are watching his judgment, and you know, we can all judge for ourselves what we think, how he is mentally fit. To me, I don't feel like he's mentally fit at all. I feel like his judgment is really off, and we're watching him really closely. Even the people that are around him, supporting him, they're watching him closely too, you know, because the decisions that he's making can lead us to World War III. So we all need to pay attention to his patterns, you know, and those patterns are, you know, like the tariffs. The tariffs, he put tariffs on everybody, then he released it, then he, you know, delayed it, back and forth, back and forth. Isn't, you know what I mean? all the things that come out of his mouth. He says one thing, he does another. He says he's going to do things, he doesn't do it. So we never know what he's going to do because he probably doesn't even know what he's going to do. So we have to really be watching his pattern and his behavior, and other people are doing that too. And another thing, he is without empathy. All the things that he's implemented, taking away from people that, are getting $6 a day to eat with, and he's taking those things away, taking health care away from people, sending ICE to, I mean, just giving them a pass, letting them beat up anybody, handcuff anybody, imprison anybody, don't have to identify themselves, wearing masks, just terrorizing communities and everything. He has no empathy for any of the people or the public, the things that he's doing, just bullying citizens, and he has no conscience. So that is some signs to mental problems, definitely, to dementia. I can tell you that when my mother was in the hospital, well, before, way before, I know she was a very mean person, but her husband had Alzheimer's, and she treated him so badly, so badly. And at the end of her life, we could all kind of put it together that she'd had dementia for a while. She was hiding it very well, and I think that's what Trump is doing. Trump hides it very well, and the people around him help hide it also. But that is some of the cues that we can take, that there's a lack of conscience, a lack of empathy, you know, a lack of compassion and concern. Yeah, and that's what we need to watch about the judgments that he's making, and we are right. We're doing that. I do feel like this is an indication that yes, he does have some mental issues going on, definitely. Okay, let's keep going. So this is Nine of Swords. So this is again not sleeping. This is having a major effect on his brain health. That's his number one problem is he doesn't sleep. And he's been like that for a long time. All his life, I think he's had insomnia issues and not sleeping. So you can just imagine what that's done to his brain health over time. Nine of Cups. But he really doesn't believe that's a problem uh, because he's been like that all his life. So he thinks that's just how I am. I don't require a lot of sleep. I'm very active. I have high energy. I just don't need help. Don't need sleep because, maybe he's like, I feel fine. But people that have dementia, they don't really realize that their brain is in need, is declining and in need. He thinks he's fine mentally and healthy. He just feels like I just don't need to sleep. I'm just Donald Trump and I don't need to sleep. Everybody needs to sleep. Everybody. Two of Swords. So this is, his health care providers have offered different types of ways to help him sleep. So they've offered him, sleep aids and everything, but he's made that decision not to take anything. He's just like, this is just how I am. I don't need any help. And of course, people around him are like, you need to sleep. And they're trying to, make him listen to them, but he doesn't listen to anybody, basically. They know it's not healthy for him to only sleep a few hours at night. And, he's fallen asleep all over the place. He fell asleep at his parade. He falls asleep constantly in the middle of meetings and everything. Just go and look it up, and you can see all the times that he's fallen asleep. It's because he's not getting enough sleep at night. Um, he doesn't trust anybody. That's one thing. Because in his mind, he's like, okay, well, what if they give me something and I fall asleep and I'm in a deep sleep and something happens and, I'm not there to make a decision to take care of it. So he doesn't trust anybody, and he's not going to take something to make him go to sleep because of what I just said. He's a control freak, basically. He um, he can't sleep. That's one of the reasons he can't sleep, because he's a control freak, and he wants to make sure, that if something happens or they need him for something, he'll be right there ready to respond. But if he takes medication to make him sleep, maybe he's taken it in the past and he's felt groggy afterwards and everything and not good, and he doesn't want to feel like that and be like that, not able to make decisions. So he's opted not to do that, even though it's been offered to him and even though he needs it, but he won't do it. Okay, the next card I've pulled is the Fool card. This is easy. Donald Trump's acting like a fool. He's acting like a fool. He's destroying his presidency for sure. He's taking advice like from the likes of Stephen Miller, and it is taking advice from Stephen Miller is like walking off a cliff. It is definitely. Um, so this is a reflection of Trump's behavior, acting foolish, acting irrational, being obsessed, immature, irresponsible, dangerous even, violent, erratic, just mentally unstable. This is a reflection of Donald Trump completely. Page of Wands. Um, Page of Wands always represents somebody immature. So his behavior is very childlike. He's acting very immature, especially the way that he communicates. This is about communication. So, uh, and that is a signal for cognitive decline, childlike behavior and not being able to communicate well. Four of Swords. Well, you can see this person is sleeping. He does need sleep for sure. So this issue keeps resurfacing. Um, and, he is under an enormous amount of stress right now. And anybody that's a president has a lot of stress. And he's actually feeling really anxious right now. It's really possible that he may have some kind of health scare, that he might have something going on here in the next few days or so or week, and he may have to go to the hospital, because this is an indication that you may be headed for the hospital. Uh, but of course they'll try to hide it. Maybe they'll say, "Oh, Trump went for a checkup," or uh, something like that. They're not going to say, Trump had a health scare, he had some kind of problem, little heart attack, something like that. There's some kind of health scare that's going to happen, and hopefully we'll hear about it and know about it. But everybody around him is so secretive, and they take such good care of him and everything. But he's not doing so great mentally, for sure. Okay, next part. Ten of Wands. So, this card is all about being overburdened, taking on too much. And, he's got a lot on his plate, really. What all that's going on, all these wars, and he's trying to make that decision. Should I bomb Iran? Should I not? There's a lot of stress involved. He's actually taken on more than he can handle. This is way too much for him. That's why he's listening to the likes of Stephen Miller, because this is just too much. He doesn't have the capacity to make these decisions, to be in the presidency, and it's just too much for him. It's just a big burden on him, honestly. Knight of Pentacles. He's also having some intestinal problems, like gastrointestinal issues, some indigestion, some diarrhea, and this is all from stress also. That he's been called Diaper Don for a reason, but he is getting treatment for it. He is actually letting them, he's receiving treatment. He's he knows he needs it because when you shit your pants, you need to do something about it because he's in public all the time. Can't just wear a diaper because your shit stinks. So he is taking some medication for that. Okay, definitely he is. Ace of Wands. So this kind of sums it up. This is the last card I pulled. That his healthcare team is totally aware of all Donald Trump's issues, and he is getting the best of care. That's what this indicates. So just like everyone else around Donald Trump, they're going to prop him up and make him look as good as possible, as healthy and well as possible. But they're keenly aware of all the issues that Donald Trump has mentally, physically, uh, everything. But all presidents get this spectacular care, and he's receiving it too. So just that's one good thing, is that he's getting good health care. So we don't want him to spiral down so bad that he makes horrible decisions. And although he is making really bad decisions in my point of view, but he is getting some health care, better health care than me and you get, that's for sure. So just look at it like that. At least he's getting some health care, and people are aware of what's going on with him, and his health care team knows. They know, they know, they know, they know. They know. They really do know. So hopefully, they'll be there to say no to him or say that's enough. I hope, I hope, because they're aware of it. So that's what I'm getting for Donald Trump's health issues. It's kind of par for the course. It's kind of like we already knew all that, right? But it's good to ask and find out where we're at and what's going on, and what we can expect. So, you know, I do feel like there's going to be some kind of health issue coming up with him, that he's going to need to receive some care for. And I think there isn't there like a little mini hospital inside the White House. He could be receiving some kind of care right there. He could have some kind of issue and receive care right there. There's definitely something going on, and he's going to have some acute care. So we'll see if we're going to hear about it, know about it. Things get leaked out no matter what. We're going to hear about it one way or the other. We'll hear about it. So just keep listening, keep watching. We'll hear about it. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate you. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I appreciate it. And hit the bell to be notified for when another video comes out. I'm trying to put out more videos. Um, I'm paying more attention to my husband and trying to get my videos out. Yesterday morning, I got up really, really early, and I thought, well, I'm going to do my readings. I'm going to get everything in order because it was his birthday, and I said, well, I'm going to get everything in order. What did he do? I got up but early. I got up like at 5 o'clock, started doing my readings, took my laptop, went out to the kitchen area. There's nobody at home. Did my readings and everything. And who wakes up early? He doesn't usually wake up till like 9 o'clock. So I thought I had plenty of hours. No, here he comes, 7 o'clock. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you up? Because I left the bedroom. There he is. He just peeked in on me. He must feel I'm talking about him. He can feel it, right? All right, guys. So anyway, I'm doing the best I can. All right, guys. Love y'all so much. If you'd like to get a reading with me, look down below. I also do healing sessions or chakra balancing, energy releases for home, office, or anything. I love to do those. Those are really interesting. So if you're in need, look down below and contact me through my email. All right. Have a wonderful day. Do something kind for somebody. It'll always come back to y'all. Bye for now.